All right, Dark Albion, Cults of Chaos by RPGPundit and Dominique Crouzet. It's about 90 pages. It's got great public domain art. And it's got this awesome cover. And let's just point that out. I don't know what's going on there. That's interesting. And this is a supplement for Dark Albion, but I think you can use it with other games, obviously. Other OSR games as well as whatever role-playing game you're playing. Obviously, just change around names, stats, and stuff like that, and you're good to go. Okay, so usually with cults, I think of them kind of very bare bones. It's usually a group of shitheads that want to attack something, sacrifice something, or someone, summon up a demon, take over power-wise, and overall just be really a shithead, to be honest with you. But what Dark Albion's Cult of Chaos does, it allows you to completely flesh out that cult. Okay, what type cult is it? And that's going to be based on social class. Different social classes, obviously something very important. Dark Albion will have different types of cults. Okay, maybe this cult is a noble cult and it's deep within the court, the royal court. Maybe something's going on there. Where's their location at? Where do they have, where do they do their nefarious deeds? Is it a peasant cult might be underneath in some cave somewhere, or a noble cult all the way up to the noble cult might be in some chapel or some sort of summer home of some great noble or something. Once you've got that, you could add in possibly maybe a complication for the cult. Maybe somebody is attacking some of their resources, thieves or something, and they don't realize who they're messing with, who they're dealing with. Okay. Now, one of the things I really liked about the book when it came to the actual cults themselves is that it tells you different types. I mean, there's cults that are about star alien worship. Okay, there's cults that are straight witchcraft type cults, demonic cults, cults that worship nature, cults that are ingrained in the clergy. Maybe they want to take over the Church of the Unconquered Sun. And then there's ones that I think it's a fake cult. It's a cult that a guy or a girl or somebody has pulled the wool over a bunch of people's eyes, and they now worship him or her, and that he doesn't have any powers, nothing like that. So it gives you some neat options when it comes to creating a cult that maybe you didn't think of, because I didn't think of some of them. Maybe this cult worships an object. Maybe it's a magical object that gives someone powers that they use to thus then influence other cult members. It has a section about complications. You can roll up a complication for a cult. Maybe everything's going great with them. Maybe somebody has stolen an item, an artifact or something from the cult. Maybe someone has fled and they're afraid that they're going to tell the secrets of the cult. So that's a neat thing. And all these, the book is full of D12, D20, and D100 random or pick stuff, and it's super compact in what it gives you with those tables and those rolls. So once you have that, what is the garb? What type? What do they wear? How do they greet each other? How do they know if another member is in that cult? Maybe they have a hand signal. They have something that they wear that lets other cult members see. So it's got that to help you create the cult. It's also got a great section, one of the best section in it. Once you've created the cult and you've got all that down pat, it's got a section for the GM on pretty much how do you run a cult in a role-playing game. And it's going to give you a bunch of stuff to help not only set up the cult's objectives, but allow your PCs to be placed into that, into the situation where the cult exists. How do we get the PCs? How do we get the adventure going with the PCs involved? There's many different ways that it gives you options that you can, again, random or choose. Everything from family members being abducted to, a stupid night of drinking at a tavern, and now the PCs have been kidnapped and taken in by this cult. Or they just stumble across maybe the cult in the woods or in a cave or something. So that right there is really great. It gives you that first step into getting the PCs involved. Now I think as you start to create your cult, you start to create these motives, because there's a whole section about like why have they gotten into this cult? What is the background? Or is it revenge? Do they hate somebody? Are they an idiot? Great list there to actually say what is the reason why this cult exists. What is the basis behind maybe this member joining? So I think that's very usable. And again, all these sections here are just something that when I read them, I was like, great, that's a great thing to have. I need that. That if I'm going to make a cult and make it deep, these are the things you're going to need. And that's its strongest thing that it has going for it. So once your PCs are involved, how do you continue on with that? Setting up clues, revelations about the cult. And so the players are going to start interacting with NPCs, gathering up these clues, maybe putting two and two together. They may come across somebody and they may say, well, let's ask them about this cult. Well, based on the size of the cult, there's a percentage chance that nobody knows about it. If it's very large, of course, that's a better chance that someone does. And so, what does that person know about the cult? All these things are answered in the book through a random roll, or you choose. Does that person know anything about the cult? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Maybe they're a cult member, and now there's suspicion about your party. The party is now, maybe the cult is going to have to turn their eye to the group, and they may retaliate. They may have somebody maybe follow them, ransack their stuff. There's so much you can do with that, and that's the meat, really, I think, of this book. That's where I think you can have a book that just says, here's how do you create a cult on, physically. But then the best part about it for me is how to run it for your players, how to get them involved, how to give them the clues that there's actually a cult involved, and then once they have all those pieces together, how they're going to confront the cult. And it gives you 3 different dungeons that maybe the cult layer in: a small one, a medium, and a large one. Large ones could be for like elf cults, and a small one could just be for a little small peasant cult. But that's extremely helpful. There's maps for all 3 of those. You can see here there's stats for NPCs that you may run across. They're thugs, they're magic users they may have, the cult members themselves. And of course, that's going to be OSR specific. You can kind of see how that goes. So right here, we've got a section that shows you. Here's a very large, pretty much cult hideout place here. Okay, right here. And it's going to have it layered out and numbered with all the different rooms and what they may mean and what they may be involved in that cult. There's a section on mutations. Maybe the cultists are showing some sort of signs or gifts from whoever they're worshiping. And of course, that's always fun. Horns and missing an arm, wings, real hairy, who knows, sharp teeth. There's a section of, again, based on social class, different types of NPCs that may be cult members that you can just go ahead and take and plump right into your adventure. That's, of course, very helpful. And then there's a whole section about different types of cults. And of course, a lot of these are going to be based on Dark Albion, but you can easily pull a lot of them out. And put them into your own setting or something. Blood gods, demon cults, star gods, aliens from above that give their worshippers, who are usually they're men and women who look at the stars, astrologers, going to give them special alien gifts for doing their wicked deeds. Okay, maybe some of them just want to upturn the church or just change the social order. And then there's a whole section on elf cults, and of course, elves are a big deal in Dark Albion, as well as with the history of it. So some people might worship an elf cult, and it tells you more about the elves, what they look like, what their characteristics are, and that's really good. A lot of cults are lustful, debauchery type cults, and some of them are frog cults from across the way in France, which we spoke about in Dark Albion, that video. Some of them may be nature cults as well. And then, of course, you're going to have your witches and demons and stuff like that. That's all well and good, and this stuff you're going to use. And then in the back, you're going to have a section that's fun called Visions, Hallucinations, and Bad Trips. And this is easy ways. Of course, there is a section already on adventure hooks, but this is another section that maybe through dreams or drinking some sort of potion or something, you're given some sort of tidbit of information, or you see something that may be something that influences the group about tackling this cult. There's another section in the back about different areas to go, maybe like Stonehenge or magical circles or something like that, how that may affect magic as well as the cult, chaos magic, and it's an optional section as well. So, there's a lot of stuff to it. In the 90 pages, it really hits a lot of stuff. It hits a lot of different spots. Again, from the reasons, which I think is a great thing to have, their taboos, or what type maybe examples of their rituals they have. what exactly, where is the ceremony held? Is there something you have to wear specifically for the ritual? And then the actual ceremonies itself. Maybe the cultists have certain taboos or restrictions about what they're supposed to do or not do, and they have to live up to that. And that's a section called Chaos Cult's Life, which I think is great. It's a fantastic section. So this is it. This is a great addition to Dark Albion, and I think it's a great addition just to anybody who's got a really nice, you got your OSR setup, full of your books and stuff. This should slide right in, and you can use this to when you really want to make the cult deep, deep, deep personality in your campaign setting. And I think when you start messing with it, you're actually going to be able to, you could probably pretty much create your own campaign with this cult if you wanted to, that you've created. And it gives you all the steps that you need. So again, just an absolutely great book. I highly recommend it to anybody who likes that kind of dark side, as well as fleshing out things that you maybe in the past, maybe you just kind of cut corners on. This is going to fill keep you on the right path, create something that's deep, create a real enemy, a real it's really, to me, the book has got a lot of conspiracy investigation type stuff with the clues that the PCs have to find, laying those little breadcrumbs down for the PCs in order to really maximize that entity you've created with this cult. So I really enjoy the book. I'll definitely be using it in the future. Anytime I want to say, how do I get these PCs involved in a cult? How do I make this kind of maybe scary? How do I have some intrigue and conspiracy in the game? And again, with Dark Albion, since Dark Albion can go low and high, it can go anywhere in the social class, this can be placed anywhere within that. If you've got characters that are pretty much street urchins, you can have them be affected by a cult. If you've got your players and they're in the royal court and they're dealing with the big personalities that's going on in the War of the Roses, maybe a cult's come in and affected the court, and they can maybe uncover it and stop it. So that's what Dark Albion Cults of Chaos is all about. And obviously, I think if you're a fan of Dark Albion, this is going to be a must-buy for you. And if you're not, you're not sold on Dark Albion, or whatever the case may be, it's a great supplement just to have if you play fantasy role-playing games. It's a bunch of us, and there's a lot of games out there that can play it, and this can be used with it. So there it is. Hope it's been helpful for you, and thanks.